All right, everybody. Here we go again. What a day. What a freaking day. Well, here I am, sitting here back for my post-market wrap-up. This really was a lovely day, and I'm going to cover some things here that you just won't believe. What is being spewed out of the mouths and actions of the collective confederacy of dunces. I'm including CNBC, Market Watch, Bloomberg. I mean, all of them. They're all part of the confederacy here, and it's off the charts. Anyway, it's Wednesday, August 15th, 2018. So let's go over some of this stuff. I don't even know where to begin. Or how about this? Stocks did finish lower, well off of their lows. The Dow Jones Industrial Average finished down about 135, 136 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 334, I believe, earlier today. These markets are extremely volatile. I want to talk more about that towards the end. But here's what they're doing and why today was, again, just so freaking lovely. You know how I mentioned in a recent video that sometimes I end up on the floor laughing? That's on this side. And then sometimes I end up on this side of the floor in the fetal position. Well, today, not only did I end up in the fetal position, I was rooting and grasping. For you medical people out here, you know what that is as well. So here's the story. A lot of fear in this market. As a matter of fact, the fear gauge is vaulted higher on the prospect that there may be a contagion, or possibly the Turkish central bank can't get in here and really do anything meaningful, but they got the IMF to back them up too. You know that. That means you and me are backing this whole thing up as well. The issue here is off the Richter scale. I mean, literally, there has to be a new invention of a new scale with regard to the global debt problem, the insolvency of these banks, the twisted system, not twisted sister, twisted system that we are in here, and the absolute rigging that keeps going on here, the mechanism of a borrowing into oblivion. Here in the United States, too, this has not changed under President Trump. And let me just say this, too, because I think a lot of people misunderstood with a little tweet that I put out earlier. I am not in any way comparing President Trump to President Obama. However, with regard to the Federal Reserve, pay attention now, with regard to the Federal Reserve, okay, I want to get this on the record straight here, and borrowing into oblivion, creating any excuse to continue to borrow, President Trump has literally taken a mirror image. Actually, it's not even a mirror image. It's literally right off the page from Obama's playbook. There's no difference. I challenge anyone here to tell me where I'm wrong. It's just not, the truth is, look, I don't blame the guy. I explained this to you. No one wants this thing coming down on their watch. And candidate Trump, he spoke out very loudly against Obama's playbook, the Federal Reserve, but now he's adopted. That's the word I was looking for. He's adopted the same playbook because I think he understands maybe a little more clearly after sitting there in office, hey man, this is not as good as I actually thought it was. I believe that presidents, unfortunately, do get kind of a rude awakening when they sit there in the office and they get a perspective on things, how they really work. Although, I do believe as well, President Trump understands the mechanism of this financial system as good as anybody does. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. I just wanted to clarify that, all right? So don't freak out regarding the Federal Reserve. Only that's where President O and President T, they're identical, no difference. Okay, so this is the part here where I ended up in the fetal position, rooting and grasping. The first thing was this. Whenever there's any kind of turmoil in the markets whatsoever, they pull out their props. The number one prop that they pull out is Mr. Warren Buffett. Mr. Warren Buffett was paraded out, I think it was on Market Watch, CNBC, maybe both, maybe all of them, I'm sure. and they put him out there, and they said, hey, this is what Warren Buffett's buying. He's buying Apple, he's buying XYZ, and he's buying up your wazoo as well. So they always do this. It's part of their playbook. Okay, who can we pull out? Well, let's pull out Warren Buffett here. Yeah, let's put everybody at ease so they'll forget about what's going on here, and they'll get in here and try to mimic what Warren Buffett is doing. First of all, you can never do this in any way, shape, or form. But again, it's part of the scheme. Let's get him out. Let's pull out the props. Oh yeah. Unbelievable. Then we get this, and this is another. Then actually, I have to admit, I was on this side of the floor in the fetal position. Then I rolled behind me here, and I ended up rooting and grasping when they said this. This was CNBC, quote, "This, what we're experiencing, is a garden variety emerging market meltdown." I honestly don't even know what that means. It's a garden variety emerging markets meltdown. Interesting. And then they went on to say that this is a buying opportunity. It very well may be, depending on what the hell these world central banks are able to pull off. Because look, all of this has gone on way longer than it should have. And these world central banks, by every mechanism that they can think of and things we can't even dream about, have been able to keep this whole thing propped up. So, look, this issue over there, they're going to get a bailout. One way or the other, Turkey will be bailed out. You're going to do it. Period. I know you don't want to hear it, but you also bailed out Wall Street. You didn't want to do that either, but you did. You're going to bail out Turkey, and then whatever else comes down the pike here, that's the mechanism here. And it's all being played on everyone like a freaking grand piano. There's no doubt about it. It's unbelievable how they string people along, how they are able to twist their minds into whatever they want to do, keep people divided. It's an incredible mechanism, and they seem to have it down to a science. It's really the truth. All right. Anyway, let's see where this plays out here moving forward. Now, just real quick, I want to talk about some of this market volatility and how we can take advantage of it, how I've been taking advantage of it. I've been posting my positions, exclusively credit spreads, on Facebook and Twitter. I think I posted a couple on LinkedIn as well. Understand, some of these positions, you have to look at them from this perspective if you're a trader and trying to understand what I'm doing here. Some of these appear to be risking a lot to only make a little. However, it's the probability that I'm looking at here. I'm willing to risk this to make this, but the probability that this trade will be successful has to be pretty damn high. You understand? So that's the way I am looking at this. This market is super volatile. I mean, look at today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 334, I believe. It closed down only about 130-ish. That's pretty volatile. So to take advantage of that, using credit spreads, like I've covered, you can win three ways. If you're betting, like I took up a spread earlier against SPY. Small profit there, but a very high probability that trade will be successful. And I can win even if the trade goes against me because of how I set it up. If you're interested in seeing how I set it up, check my Facebook page and or Twitter, and you'll see. Anyway, for those of you that do not trade, I'll tell you where the real buying opportunity was, in my opinion, and I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but it's this knee-jerk into the dollar, putting pressure on metals here. Again, they can't. There's a finite amount of time, however that may be, that they can keep doing what they're doing to prop this all up. This is all going to correct to fair value. The debt is in the bubble of bubbles, so we want to take the opposite side of that trade. That means holding a hard asset. It may also mean, and I'm going to take heat for this, I don't know why people do this, but it may also mean having a certain allocation of capital in cryptos. Cryptos caught a nice bid today. I don't know what they're going to do. Here's my issue with cryptos now. I don't know how to value them anymore. I really don't. So that's why, another reason why I pulled out. And right now I'm not in any crypto except for, I'm talking about like an almost minuscule amount of Steam in my Steam account. I think there's like $1,300 in there in US dollars of Steam. Anyway, look, with that said, we'll let you all go. Let's see what are the kind of props they pull out of here tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. I don't know, maybe they'll pull out Buffett again or some other freak show. All right, with that said, see you tomorrow.